The question lingers like smoke after fire. How does a goddess once honored across cities and homes, once spoken of beside the name of Israel's own God, become forgotten? It is tempting to imagine that Asherah simply faded away, that people outgrew her, or that her worship was replaced by something more refined. But history rarely works that way. Asherah did not vanish because she was irrelevant. She was removed. Her memory was erased, carefully and intentionally, through a long process of cultural, political, and religious transformation. At the center of this transformation was the rise of monotheism. In the earliest periods of Israelite history, belief in many gods was normal. The people of Israel were not unique in this. They lived among Canaanites, Phoenicians, Arameans, and others, all of whom believed in a rich spiritual world filled with divine beings. El, Baal, Astarte, Anat, and Asherah were part of this shared cultural landscape. Yahweh emerged from this world. He was not originally the only God. He was the national God of Israel, a deity who protected the people, guided them, and received their worship alongside other gods. For generations, Yahweh was honored together with Asherah, just as El had once stood beside Astarte. But as Israel's identity deepened, especially after political crises and foreign invasions, a new idea began to take root. The belief that there is only one God, and that all others must be rejected, began to shape the religious imagination of the people. This shift did not happen overnight. It took centuries, but it changed everything. Monotheism brought with it a kind of spiritual clarity. One God, one people, one law. It helped unify a scattered nation. It strengthened the authority of priests and kings. It drew a clear line between the sacred and the profane. But it also required something painful. It required the exclusion of other voices, especially the feminine voice. Asherah, as the divine feminine, stood in direct contrast to this new order. She was not easily controlled. Her worship was rooted in the home, in the body, in nature. She did not belong only to the temple or to the priesthood. She belonged to the people, and so she had to go. Scripture reflects this struggle. In earlier biblical texts, there are hints of a broader spiritual world. The plural term Elohim, the references to divine councils, the stories that echo older myths. But as the texts were edited and reinterpreted, Asherah was stripped of her name. Her poles were condemned. Her image was cast as sinful. What once had been sacred became taboo. At the same time, the feminine aspect of divinity was not fully replaced. It was buried. Wisdom was personified as a woman in Proverbs, speaking from the streets and calling to the people. The Queen of Heaven appears in Jeremiah, where women offer cakes and prayers in her honor. These are remnants, scattered like seeds across Scripture, reminders of what had once been present. But Asherah herself, by name and image, was removed. The deeper reason for her erasure may go beyond religion. It may lie in the rise of patriarchal systems, where power moved more and more into the hands of men. As society became more structured around kings, priests, and male lineage, the feminine was pushed into silence. Not only the feminine divine, but women themselves. To erase Asherah was to erase a way of understanding the world. A world where life came from balance, where the divine could be both strong and nurturing, where creation came not from command, but from union. She was forgotten not because she failed, but because she threatened the new order. Her memory was not simply lost, it was taken, but memory has a way of returning. In clay figurines buried in the earth, in inscriptions hidden on broken pottery, in the longing of modern hearts for what was left behind, Asherah begins to reappear. And with her comes a question, not just who she was, but what it means that she was once known and then forgotten. When we ask why she was erased, we are also asking what we have lost and what we might yet recover.